Hello everyone and welcome to my new channel. My name is Lizzie and I got a bunch of books. I got a bunch of stuff. I don't know if you can see, we got some puzzles back here. We got some Funko Pops. We got some books. I got a collection problem. I have a book hoarding problem. I know that there are people that have more books than me. There are also people that own less books than me. A lot of these books I've had for like at least 3 or 4 years and I haven't even thought about touching them, reading them, and something needs to force me to do that. One day, like a couple weeks ago, I was just looking at my shelves and I was like, oh my gosh, I need something to force me to read all of my books. I think at this point I have over 100 books, and this year I've really been doubling down on like reading and being interested in reading and sticking to books and not just reading for 20 minutes and then getting distracted and doing something else, which is what I do anyway, but I always make myself go back to the book. It's just so fun. But I'm buying a lot more books than I am reading books. So I thought what I kind of want to do is find all of my books, because I've been doing this for a while. I've been looking at all the books on my TBR and I can like group them in certain ways. I mean, everybody can, genre, authors, names, initial, like cover. But I saw like, I have some Avatar: The Last Airbender. I have some books that just have like dogs on the cover. I have some books that are Taylor Swift inspired, have Easter eggs. The title of a song or lyrics is somewhere. Like, so I was thinking about doing all these like weird little categories, filming videos, reading them, tackling them, all that stuff. So if that seems interesting, give this video a thumbs up or comment and let me know, and I'll kind of like stick to that, because I think that'll be the easiest way for me to get rid of this TBR. The first category or theme that I'm doing is just fall themed, which is actually really funny because for the past 2 days, so many of my favorite booktubers have been posting fall TBRs. And I was looking at my TBR and I was thinking, oh, this is a lot. This is a lot for me, but I feel like this is a lot in general. Why are so many booktubers fall TBRs? At least 15 books. But also the fall time goes until like December 1st, if you wanted to. So yeah. I also live in Florida, so the fall time could essentially still be in December. And that's when we're getting our fall weather. And then the cold will actually come in. The cold will come in at like end of January, early February. So I can technically go through December. But this is really ambitious for me because I've only read 18 books this year. And I know what they say, don't compare your reading to others. I think there's like 11 books on my TBR for the fall time. So the fact that I want to read 11 books in 3 months and I've read 18 all year. But I think I can do it. But first, I went to the store yesterday. You guys don't understand. You guys do not understand. What you don't understand is I think I've discovered a new favorite author. So let's talk about this first. I don't think I mentioned this. I'm a very chill reader. Anything that has like a serious plot, ew, I'll read it. Trust me, I love it. But the way I fly through a book is when the most tragic thing is they can't find the key to their house. She put on the wrong shirt, wanted to wear a different colored shirt. I love when things are just so unserious. I have a lot of serious books. I wanted to read like 4 books and they all had the theme of like suicide, death, grief. I was looking at my shelves and I was like, I just don't have any more lighthearted books. So I had to. Gun to my head, I had to go to the bookstore. Recently I've been into Sarah Adams. I've only read two of her books, When in Rome and The Match. Loved The Match. Gave it 5 stars. Probably because the dog was involved, but it was just so sweet. So I picked up The Enemy, which is the sequel to it. All of Sarah Adams' books are like in the same world, but you don't have to read them in order. So I think there's 2 books in this series. I'm not entirely sure what the series is called, but like the When in Rome series is like What Happened in Rome series, or the When in Rome series, and this is the second one to it, The Practice Makes Perfect. I'm like 99% sure you don't have to read her books in order. My brain just likes me to read her books in order so I can like see the characters and be like, oh my gosh, I remember that character from this. So I got 2 Sarah Adams books and I'm so excited to read these, especially for when I tackle those books that are about grief and death and suicide and all the more serious topics. I need some lighthearted. I've been eyeing The Guncle for so long. The Guncle is by Stephen Rowley or Rowley. Stephen Rowley, maybe. This is about gay Uncle Patrick. Yeah, Gup for short. Gay Uncle Patrick has a niece and a nephew, and tragedy strikes, and he now has permanent guardianship over his niece and his nephew. And I am pretty sure that this is just about their adventures. And the reason why I say pretty sure, I've noticed that occasionally spoilers will happen on the back of a book. Now, as somebody who went into Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, Googling who all died and what all happened so I could be mentally and emotionally prepared, I'm okay with spoilers. But for some reason with books, I'm different. I'm like, no. Like, why did you spoil something in the back of the book that doesn't happen until page 100? That would have been such an interesting thing to learn. Sometimes I'll read the whole thing, and then by the time I get around to reading the book, I've forgotten about what it is or what it's about. But recently, I've just been reading like 2 sentences on the back of the book, and then if it catches my attention, I get it. And it's kind of been working out. I haven't really gotten like a terrible book. And I feel like this isn't something that needs to be preferenced, but I'm just a really lighthearted reader. I don't take anything too seriously. So I feel like books that I give 5 stars, other people are gonna critique it and be like, oh, but the writing could have been better in this sense and blah, blah, blah. A 5-star is a feeling to me. Like when I rate my books, they're all feelings. I think Destiny Sidwell does this. She doesn't rate autobiographies. I don't. But like I gave The Match 5 stars, and I know that there are people out there who are going to say, oh, well, the writing could have been better, or this could have been extended. The way that book made me feel as somebody who struggles with focusing on a book and paying attention to reading for more than 20 or 30 minutes at a time, when I can sit down with a book and keep reading it for at least 30 minutes at a time, when I'm just like giggling and kicking my feet and having to put down the book and just like, it's 5 stars. So speaking of my new favorite author, Sarah Adams, she posted a picture with this book, Business Casual by B.K. Borison. I looked it up. This is in a series. This is the 3rd or 4th book in the series, and it says author of Love Light Farms, and I'm pretty sure that's the first one. I kind of did some Googling, and I'm pretty sure this is kind of in the same realm of Sarah Adams. You don't have to read these in order. Again, my brain wants me to read them in order. I'm going to attempt not to, because this just sounded so intriguing. I want to read this so bad. So again, the only thing that I read was, I'm pretty sure the woman owns a tattoo shop. Sarah Adams liked it, woman owned a tattoo shop. Like, let's go. Nova is opening up a new tattoo studio in her hometown, and Charlie is an investment banker. So I think it might just be them intermingling in their adventure. Yeah, it says she doesn't have time for frivolous flirtations. Oh, and when I was doing research trying to figure out if I could read this one without reading the others before it, I heard so many good things about In the Weeds, I think it's called, and Mixed Signals, which are like the 2nd and 3rd book of the series, I think. I have my TBR for the fall season divided into 3 different like categories, and yeah, no, I'm just looking at it now and I'm scared. But the first category is books that I'm currently reading. Why did I do this? I know why, and I'll tell you. So I have 4 books that I'm currently reading, and I need to finish them. My brain is jumbled, it's running around in circles, it doesn't know what's going on because there are 4 books that I need to finish. Like, I could have finished 2 of these in the time that it took me to kind of start all 4 of these. So the first book I have is ACOTAR by Sarah J. Maas. I'm pretty sure I started this in like May or June, maybe April. What happened was this was a buddy read with a friend, and her life got chaotic, my life got chaotic. I think we forgot about the buddy read, but I'm on page 95. I like it so far. It's really interesting. I think Lucian's the fox mask guy. Tamlin's the guy, yeah. I like Lucian. I kind of always like the bad guys or the side characters that nobody really tends to like, or like the evil characters. I'm not sure what's going on with him yet, but it is a very interesting story. I'm not going to go into what it's about because I'm sure everybody knows, but when I picked up this book, all I knew was Feyre killed a wolf. And I was like, okay, but everybody talks about it. I have extreme FOMO and I wanted to join the crowd. Then the second book I picked up was Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This book is so interesting. I'm going to be honest with you, ACOTAR and Encyclopedia of Fairies are probably the first real fantasy books that I've read in my adult life. If you're reading this and it is your first time really getting into fantasy, give this some time. I think it was probably around page 70 where I was starting to be able to like imagine the characters and the book and the setting and the adventure and what was happening and where they're going. And I am so glad I stuck with it because it is honestly so cool. I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition that actually looks like the tethered pages. I love this because it actually feels like I'm reading her encyclopedia rather than it just being like, you know, a normal book. But this is such a good book. Basically, Emily Wild's a professor, and I'm pretty sure it's like the last race or the last species of fairy that she has to study before she can finish her encyclopedia. And so this book is just kind of about her adventures studying the fairy. Then I needed to start a book, and this is where I got stuck because there were 3 books that I wanted to read and they were all about grief and death. And I was like, okay. So I picked up a funny death story. So this is An Enchanting Case of Spirits by Melissa Holtz. A woman in her 40s, her husband dies, and on her 40th birthday, her 2 best friends, they take her out to celebrate her birthday and to heal from her grief. And I think they pick up a ghost along the way, or they go ghost hunting, or they run into a ghost, or a ghost follows them home. Something involves a ghost. So I know there's still death when you talk about a ghost, but there was no trigger warning for this book, so I think it's going to be a funny ghost and not tragic and sad. I don't know why I did this to myself. I normally don't start multiple books at once, but I started People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry solely because I was just in the mood for a romance, like a love story, like something just to make me giggle and kick my feet. My mom said this was a really cute book. It's about Poppy and Alex, and this book does time hop. So every chapter or every other chapter, they go back to 10 summers ago, this summer, 9 summers ago, this summer, 8 summers. So if you don't like that, this would not be the book for you. But so far it's really cute. It's about Poppy and Alex. It jumps back 2 summers ago when they were friends, and then when we're talking about this summer, there's an incident that happened at a vacation in Croatia 2 years ago, and it caused them to stop talking and not being friends. And so I think the plot of the book is just kind of them going back on vacation after not talking for a while, and the reader discovering what happened on the Croatia trip, but then also them rekindling their friendship or romantic relationship. I'm not sure there because, yeah, I was gonna do maybe a spoiler, but we're not going to include that. The next category, strictly like fall vibes to me. Not so much spooky, but more fall and chill. How many times can I say chill? So I have 4 books that are fall themed and 4 books that are October, Halloween, horror, spooky themed. These are the books that I have. I will start with TJ Klune. So I have 2 TJ Klune books. I have Under the Whispering Door and In the Lives of Puppets. I don't know why, but I seriously thought both of these books were just really chill, really cozy, fantasy. Again, I said chill. This book, it is about somebody named Wallace, and he has, I guess he like dies, and he has 7 days to cross over, and a Reaper comes to like have him cross over, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And this book goes along his 7 days of maybe just like experiencing life, maybe the meaning of life. I'm trying to figure out, like, in 7 days when you're having to cross over, you're probably gonna learn some lessons, go through your memories, maybe, if that's a possibility. I'm thinking of like Black Butler, when like you see your memories. So this is definitely going to be more touchy, heartfelt, more just not so giggly, kicking feet. So I'm going to go easy on myself. If I don't read this one, I'll be okay. One book that I am excited for so far does not have trigger warnings. Did I even say the name? I don't think I said. We have Under the Whispering Door, and this one we have In the Lives of Puppets. So basically this book is about an android who invents robots, and I think there's like 2 other robots with him, and then there's a human named Victor, and they make another robot, and that robot sends off signals to the android's like former life or something like that, or like former robots that he met in the past, and those robots are coming to, I don't know, take over, kill them, capture them, meet them. I'm not sure why they're on the run from these robots, but all the characters are on the run. So, or they're trying to hide from them. I think that's what's going on here. So it does sound really interesting. So yeah, like I said, I just don't try to read too much in the back, just because sometimes there are spoilers. Next are just straight up 2 cozy fall fantasies that I am so excited about. So the first one I have is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. I think that's how you say his last name. This is the sequel to Legends and Lattes. I'm not entirely sure if it is a true sequel or if it's just in the same realm, and it's a book that was published afterwards. Legends and Lattes, I loved it. Like, the biggest plot point of Legends and Latte, in my opinion, was when they needed a bigger oven because they were having too many customers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how are you gonna get a bigger oven? There's no room for the oven. Oh, it was crazy. She works at a bookshop, and she just needs a change of adventure. And something at the back just says, a suspicious traveler in gray, a gnome with a chip on her shoulder, a summer fling, and an improbable number of skeletons. I have a terrible memory. I'm pretty sure this actually might be a prequel because I'm trying to remember Legends and Lattes, and I think some of the characters in Legends and Lattes were the figure in gray, the gnome. So this actually might be somewhat of a prequel, but regardless, I'm so excited for this. This is Rebecca Thorne's Can't Spell Treason Without T. Literally, it says a cozy fantasy steeped with love. I want to be steeped with love. I want to feel steeped. So I'll let you know if I'm steeped. This, again, oh, I have to read these 2 in the same. I didn't even catch this. It says, all Raina and Kyanth want to do is open a bookshop that serves tea. Like, I'm pretty sure I read that and then I stopped. Like, that wasn't even the end of the sentence, and I stopped. So I'm so excited about this. Looks like somebody takes Raina, an assassin takes Raina hostage, and it's just, like they're fleeing the town, mishaps, mystery, and a murderous queen. Sounds great to me, and I love that more books are doing sprayed edges because they're just so cute. But yeah, I'm really excited for those 2 books. And the final category for this TBR are just true, in my opinion, true, because you'll see why I'm doing that with one, but just like October spooky horror vibes. I don't think I've ever read a horror book. These 4 books, I was just trying to look at my shelf and trying to figure out what is something that I have spooky, whether it's like a funny spooky or a true spooky. 2 of these books, and I'm going to show them now, they have been on my bookshelf or in my collection since March of 2020. 3 Halloweens have come and gone since then, and I haven't even picked up these books. So I need to do that this year. And if I don't, I might just have to get rid of the books. The books in question, Stephen King books. I love horror movies. I love bloody guts gore. I love psychological thrillers. I think it's a psychological thriller, but like where you just kind of like the movie ends and you're like, what? The reason why I picked up Pet Sematary, I'm pretty sure it's one of the 2. This was either the first horror movie that my mom saw as a kid or one of the most like prominent horror movies that she remembers growing up, like as a kid. But that's why I picked up Pet Sematary, because I really don't know anything about Stephen King books. Obviously minus like It or any book to movie adaptation that kind of blew up worldwide. Those are the ones that I know. And the next one that I got was The Outsider. And again, this was back in 2020 when I was Googling Stephen King books. This book either popped up as like a universal agreement that this is a really good book by him, or this is like a classic Stephen King book, or a really high rated. Something about this book, I was like, okay, I need to get it and just dive headfirst into Stephen King. There's an 11-year-old boy who was killed, and there's one suspect whose name is Terry Maitland. I think the entire book is just kind of going through the case and trying to figure out if Terry Maitland did it, or maybe we know that he did it, but we're trying to find all the physical evidence throughout the book. I'm really not sure, and I don't think I've heard anything about this book at all in terms of like people talking about it. But also, my realm of booktubers that I watch aren't Stephen King booktubers. Obviously, there's people out there that have talked about this, but nobody in my circle has talked about it. So I'm really excited, but also scared because there's over 550 pages. And I haven't read a thick book in a while. This is another one that I've probably had on my shelf since 2020 or 2021. When did it come out? Yeah, this came out in 2020, so I probably got it around 2021 or something like that. But this is Aidan Thomas's Cemetery Boys. When his traditional Latinx family has problems accepting his gender, Yadriel becomes determined to prove himself a real brujo. Like, and then he sets free the ghost of his murdered cousin Miguel. Or he finds the ghost of his murdered cousin Miguel and sets it free. Like, I don't know, but it just sounds so fun, so cool. So that's definitely something that I want to read in October. There's so many books. Oh, what have I done? This is Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. What I can get from this book, Gretchen is a fake medium and she gets a call for a client to go do something with a ghost. And it's a really old, rich client. And so Gretchen's like, ooh, this will be easy. I'm gonna scam this guy. She gets there and his young grandson is there. Oh, never mind. It's just a bridge partner. Okay, so it's his bridge partner. But the old man has a bridge partner who is, quote, young, hot as hell, and extremely unconvinced that Gretchen can communicate with the dead. Throughout this, Gretchen gets face to face with a ghost. And so it's like she starts off being a fake medium to scam somebody, and then it turns out, oh, like you can talk to a ghost and see the ghost. And so I think it's just like that adventure. It sounds really fun. Again, it sounds like another really chill, really calm, just a fun one that I want to read in the mix of all of these. These are definitely books that I want to tackle. In my mind, I have to tackle them. If I don't, they kind of need to go on the chopping block for an unhaul in the future. But I do want to get like a majority of them out of the way just for my mental sanity and for my bookshelf so I can make more room for books. These are the books that I want to try to read. I was really convinced that I could hold all of these and I don't know if I'll be able to. Hold on, I got this. I got this. These are the books that I want to try to read in 3 months. So I think I can do it. I mean, I just gotta put my mind to it, you know? So I hope you enjoyed. And, you know, I had a long talk with myself. I said, if I don't get through with all of these books in the next 3 months, guess what? The earth will continue to spin. And so I looked in the mirror at myself. And I was okay with that. So if I end up buying more fall books and reading those instead, then, you know, these books will just go on the chopping block for next year, next book reading adventure, whatever. But I hope you really liked it. So yeah, obviously this was my first video, so I have no idea where I'm gonna go from here, but I would just love to continue making like little grouping videos of like, oh, now I'm gonna read this group of books to try to tackle my TBR. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions of categories of books, video ideas, or books that I should read, please let me know. I would love to check it out. If there's a book that you've read and you're like, oh, if you liked Sarah Adams, you'll like this, please let me know, because you heard my reading taste. Just lighthearted. Nothing happens. Very chill. So if you guys have any 5-star or just any good recommendations, any books that are just very easygoing, please let me know. Other than that, I hope everyone's had a great day. I hope you have a great day if you're watching this in the morning, and I will see you all in the next one. And this is Vibe. Hi, lady. I'm telling y'all, she just exists. Hi. And if you want to see more of her, then you have to subscribe, unfortunately. So, alrighty, I said you down. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Bye. Alrighty, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. What are you doing?